we're talking Bengals, Cardinals. And what a matchup.
Oh,
I
my
tell you,
gosh.
these teams couldn't be closer if, they were the Bengals and the Tigers or something. I mean, because I look at their numbers across the board and they are basically identical. And that's how you know it's going to be a nail biter and a down to the wire, excellent game. John.
Oh man,
It's going to be.
We're in October and we have two winless teams facing each other. This is prime right here. This is what we do the show for. These are the games for why we prepare for this.
Well, it's going to be Kyler Murray's breakout game. Everybody knows that. This is going to be Kyler Murray is going. Today is the day that Kyler Murray's mother will take the newspaper and put it on the wall. Today, not today.
Not today. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow will be the day that Kyler Murray's mother clips the newspaper and says, "Kyler, today was your day, son. What is your favorite dish? Let me make it. You want tofu stuffing? I'm making tofu for you."
Well, he could have a big game, right? Because our linebackers are not. They're not. I don't think they're not the best in the league.
They're not.
From what I understand,
they're not the best at all.
No. And we have trouble tackling the nifty kind of.
And secondary, the Bengals secondary has been up and down, in and out, in unpredictable moments of greatness with also moments of deep mediocrity. Honestly,
and the offense has not been very good at picking up.
The offense has really been, and here's Dadio is where I need to make a few comments, because the offense has truly been phenomenally bad. I actually had the opportunity to sit down and watch Coach Zach's press conference, and I was appalled at how tone deaf it was. I mean, he just treated these 4 losses as if they were just 4 losses. They're not 4 losses. I have never in the past few years been more reluctant to watch the Bengals play as I am right now. I'm really starting to lose hope, and a lot of people are starting to lose hope. I was surprised Zach say more about that. The offense has done nothing.
We
Nothing.
had a bad week last week. The Pittsburgh game. That was a bad game. I will give you that.
Yeah.
But we showed some life early. Andy Dalton was leading the league in passing yards for a couple of weeks. He had that his career game in terms of yards. That first game.
At two, Dadio. I mean,
look. What I'm saying is, okay. Look, we are back at home. Okay, we need to win. This team. I know people are saying we got to tank. Okay. Yeah. One of our viewers just now, Christopher Robinson, he said we should tank.
Yeah.
And thank you, Christopher, for your comment. But my thing is this. Did you see Zach Taylor's response when he thought it was a safety at the end of the was it the Bills game?
Mm-hmm.
No, what game was? Yeah. And he was livid. I mean, he was excited. He is not tanking.
He wasn't excited.
I know Carlos Dunlap is not tanking. Geno Atkins isn't tanking. Andy Dalton definitely isn't.
I honestly don't think Coach Zach is in any position to tank because he's not proven himself as anything. So he can't just throw away one.
What I'm saying is, if you want us to tank or not, it doesn't matter. This team is not tanking. Okay?
They don't have to tank. They don't have to tank.
They don't have to tank.
Here's the question.
But this is one of the games.
Dadio, if I may, here's the question. Are they going to tank by choice? Or are they going to just tank? I think they're going to tank. I just think they will have no say in it.
You guys,
exactly.
Okay, but no. You guys are saying, yes, they could be a 4-12 team, okay? But if you're tanking, you might lose to the 2 teams who might have a worse record than you, so you guarantee you are ahead of them in the draft. That's what I mean. There are about 2 games. This game is a game we could very well win. The Dolphin game, we play the Dolphin later, right, John?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a game we could win.
Dolphins. It's plural. We don't just play one dolphin. I mean, look,
but then we might just play one dolphin by then. It'll be week 16.
True. That's true. I mean, the Bengals have managed to make.
That's not fair, John. They can't out tank us like that, can they?
Yeah,
just the one dolphin out there.
I would not be surprised.
I mean, look. I mean, the Bengals have managed to make really horrible teams look not so bad. They did that with Pittsburgh. All of a sudden, Pittsburgh doesn't look so bad. They did that with the Bills. I mean, you guys, I don't think people realize how grave the situation is for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's really bad. And now that you've put it on full screen mode with me, I want to reach out because we had a viewer a few weeks ago really broke my heart. He dropped being a patron of the show because of how negative we were about Andy Dalton. And I feel like I have to explain why what I'm saying about Andy Dalton, and I'm not blaming him for these losses. I've been very clear that the blame, from me, my perspective, goes entirely on Jim Turner. But the thing about Andy Dalton is he just doesn't work very well with this particular offense. He is, as I believe John put it, like the chewy center in the Tootsie Roll, just waiting to be chewed on by the defenses. And that's the problem. He's not moving around. He looks broken. He looks concerned. He doesn't.
Well, I just want to say,
he might do well behind the offensive line that gives him like 3 seconds. But behind this offensive line, we need someone who can make the moves. And actually, that's the funny thing is, Kyler Murray, I saw him do that a few times.
Well, I mean, Hodgie, just so you know, I mean, we lost 2/3 of all of our patronage with that comment last week. If you continue, we might lose the other $5 we're getting a month.
I know.
So you know.
I'm gonna
Tim Brashear was our biggest patron by far. He was patronizing.
Now I can't pay rent because of you.
Yeah. Look at John's friend in the background. He's become so thin.
My friend, this is Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, he took that ass game really hard.
Yeah.
So look. So Bengals allowing 27.5 points a game.
Yeah.
The Cardinals allowing 28.8 points a game. That means the Bengals are better than the Cardinals.
No, it doesn't, because the Bengals can't score.
The
Bengals didn't have even one touchdown against the pretty weak Steelers. That the Bengals cannot score. They cannot move the ball. You get it, Dadio? That is the problem. That's why we're all concerned. That's why I'm speaking fast.
Okay. The Bengals are not last in offensive efficiency, according to Football Outsiders. They are not last. I just looked it up.
They're the second to last, right?
I think they're third.
Third to last. And that's because those things measure things, and sometimes the numbers haven't shown yet. So at the end of the year, don't worry, they'll be last. Sometimes it takes a time. Sometimes you're getting your blood work done and like, hey, Hodgie, your cholesterol's fine. And then you wait 5 minutes and like, oh my gosh, Hodgie, let's go to the emergency.
Let's look at this. The Cardinals are allowing 586 rushing yards so far in the season.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, you talk about Kyler Murray have a breakout game. This is going to be Joe Mixon's breakout game.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't.
At home, frustrated, just beaten and brutalized by the Steelers.
I mean, one thing I say about the Steelers, the Cardinals, is that their defense is not good. They really have no one. I mean, there's one talented guy, Chandler Bing, and Chandler Bing is good, but he's not great. He can't carry the team on his back.
Well, they have a rookie head coach like us.
Chandler Jones. Yeah, not Bing.
That's what you said.
Chandler Bing is who is on our offensive line at this point.
That's right.
So look, it's a battle of 25-year-old rookie head coaches.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So really, John, I mean, have you seen one being better at his job than the other?
It's very strikingly similar, because I think at this point, Cliff Kingsbury came into the Cardinals offense and had a plan to run a lot of 10 personnel. 10 personnel is 4 receivers and 1 running back. It's the spread. It's the air raid that, he successfully ran it at Texas Tech for however many years, and he brought it into the NFL. And for the most part, the passing game has not exactly taken off like they thought, because they don't exactly have talent at the wide receiver position. They don't have as much depth as Cliff had at Texas Tech. I think Kyler has been extremely inconsistent as a passer and operating that offense. Honestly, what they're doing well right now is running the ball out of 10 personnel, out of the shotgun, out of the spread, out of the air raid. And I think they can get even more creative with that, involving Kyler Murray as a runner, along with David Johnson and Chase Edmonds in the backfield. That, I think, is going to be the difference in this game. If they are able to continue running the ball successfully like they have over the past 4 weeks, and Kyler is able to get some consistency as a passer, I think the Cardinals have the potential to run all over this defense. It's just a matter of if they choose to execute in that way. Kyler has the athleticism to basically take over this game. And what they're going to do as an offense is they're going to spread Cincinnati's defense out. They're going to force them into nickel for 100% of this game. They might even force them into dime for a lot of this game. And mind you, they still have depth issues at cornerback. So there's going to be 3 to 4 cornerbacks on the field at all times for the Bengals defense, which would take off a linebacker, which is good, but it's up to whoever that linebacker is, probably Nick Vigil in this case, to basically keep an eye on and always for Kyler Murray. Obviously, he's got responsibility for the running back too, but how they choose to attack a defense that's going to have at most 5 or 6 guys in the box, that's going to be the difference in this game, I think.
Yeah, I see that. But um, John, first of all, when we look at David Johnson, okay, you talk about the rushing game. He doesn't seem to be the same back. I don't know if it's the offensive line or what. His efficiency is not there.
No, he's not.
Yeah. So you're counting. Kyler Murray has like 100 yards rushing on the year, so he hasn't gotten going. I could see him getting going against the Bengals.
Yeah.
But what are you seeing when you're saying the running game is working? Who in particular?
Chase Edmonds is David Johnson's backup, and he's averaging, I think, almost 2 more yards per carry, and his success rate as a rusher is a little bit higher as well. But like, this is
So is he
always
going
something
to get
that
more carries? Is that the trend?
Chase Edmonds, maybe, because you're right. David Johnson is kind of like Todd Gurley at this point, where there's just a lot of wear and tear on his body, and he's just not the same explosive athlete where you can just do everything with him. They're using David Johnson more as a receiver than they have in the past couple of years, which is good for them. And that could be another issue that would really exploit this defense, because like we just talked about, when you have only 2 or 1 linebackers on the field at all times, you have to respect Kyler's ability to run, and it's going to take a lot of work for the defensive ends to contain him into the pocket and funnel him back into the middle of the field. But if you're in a position when you're in dime as a defense and you have 1 linebacker, maybe you bring an extra safety into the box to basically account for the running back and have the linebacker spy on Murray. But yeah, when you're spread out like that so much on the defensive side of the ball, you have to be able to win one-on-one matchups on the defensive line and basically fill in those gaps to avoid any explosive plays in the running game, because the Cardinals offense is not very efficient right now. Like you said, they're 27th in DVOA for Football Outsiders, but they have the potential to be much better if they exploit this defense the way that they can.
Well, can I just butt in here for a second? Please. You guys want to keep going with the technical stuff? John, I appreciate the surgical approach that you take to things. It's like if you go to a restaurant and you kind of like put your hands in the food and tear it apart and say, look, this is what makes it taste good. But can I make a broad statement about the very ambiance of the restaurant, please? What I'm gonna name 4 teams, 4, and you tell me what they have in common. Okay, Cincinnati Bengals, Arizona Cardinals, Chicago Bears, and New York Giants. What do they have? What do these 4 teams have in common?
Poor quarterback play.
A lot of poor stuff, but they are all legacy teams. They're all owned by these families, okay, that have owned the teams for a long time. And I think it's the Bellwether or the Bilwick family or whatever that owns the Arizona Cardinals.
Bidwell.
And this is what I'm getting to, is as a Bengals fan, big picture, I feel like the NFL needs to step in on these legacy teams that are owned by families that aren't managing their teams well. Because the Arizona Cardinals haven't been good for a while. They were okay, but they haven't been really good. They could be.
This is probably not the best time to bring up the NFL handling the Bidwell family, because the owner legit just died this week.
Oh my gosh. I think we just lost another patron.
Yeah, his funeral is, I think, Tuesday.
Yeah. I thought you were going somewhere, but I thought you had that in mind. Yeah.
I salute you. I wasn't following that. Hodgie's been busy. Hodgie's a busy guy. Well, in that case, more power to you, Mr. Bidwell. I bid you farewell, Mr. Bidwell.
He was 88. He lived a long life.
On to the other realm where all the NFL
look. We had one bright spot this year, John Ross, right?
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Wait,
out for 8 weeks.
Oh yeah. He was
out so many deaths this week.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing.
But
people do.
Yeah.
Go.
So
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
What? You go. I'm supporting you.
Somebody speak.
Yeah. All right.
John Ross.
I'll speak.
Yeah.
So
what?
Waldo Roren, one of our most knowledgeable fans, wants to know if Damian Willis can play the Z.
So the Z is the flanker position that had AJ Green been healthy and John Ross been healthy, that would be the position that John Ross would have played or would be playing right now. The Z is typically lined up a couple yards off the line of scrimmage because he's used a lot in motion, and he is also used in the slot from time to time. The X is like what AJ Green plays right on. It's called the split end. It's right on the line of scrimmage, and they face a lot of press coverage. So the Z is where typically you would place your number 2 receiver. And so far, Auden Tate has been the Z right now because they had John Ross as the X and then Damian Willis was at the Z, or excuse me, Damian Willis was at the X, and then Auden Tate basically took over for that. And for some reason, Damian Willis isn't really seeing the field. And right now, because Ross is going to be out, Alex Erickson is replacing John Ross. And so your 3 wide receiver sets right now are Auden Tate, Alex Erickson, and Tyler Boyd. So for some reason, Damian Willis isn't seeing the field. And I don't know if it's specifically a positional preference for the Bengals coaching staff and Willis in general. I think right now just Tate is outplaying him. And he's been productive the past couple of weeks, and I think they might have a little more trust in him because honestly, when Willis was starting out there, he wasn't really making the impact that he was in the preseason. And again, it might not be specifically a positional thing, but if Alex Erickson is beating you out, there's got to be something internally wrong with him.
Yeah. Well, how much of a role can Tyler Boyd play? Because the chemistry, the
Boyd's good.
Efficiency
Boyd is underrated. Boyd is
but I mean, the thing is, he is also not a huge or not a super fast receiver. He has a specific role. They use him in a specific ways.
Yeah, like they're keeping him in the slot. Like they're going out of their way to make sure that they're not messing up.
And he's fantastic there. He's one of the league's best.
Yeah. I love how you guys talk about the Bengals offense as if it actually functions. That's great.
Tyler Boyd is playing like one of the best receivers in the league. Am I right, John? John.
That's over exaggerating. He was very good last year, but there's naturally going to be some regression when your quarterback is playing like crap. But
he's having like a Tyler Lockett type of year. Like Lockett, I mean, in terms of just the percentage.
You're underrating Tyler Lockett.
No, I'm saying in terms of the number of targets.
Everybody knows Tyler Lockett is a good guy.
Boyd is still good, and there's nothing to take away from him from that. And I appreciate them keeping him where he wins for the most part. Because last year, they tried to replace Green basically with Boyd, and his volume production went up, but his efficiency wasn't nearly as good. And I think right now, making him more of a focal point in the offense would be into their best interest. But my concern is that's the thing. My concern is why are they not using Tyler Eifert more? Because as an offense, they have been more successful with 2 tight ends in the field than they have with only 1 tight end on the field.
But John, go ahead.
What? No, go.
Can I just say something dumb? Why not 3? Why not 3 tight ends? Can't they do that? Wouldn't that fix the blocking issue?
No.
You got 3 good guys there. One can block. He can catch. He can block.
2 of the tight ends can't pass block. Eifert, you can't trust in pass protection. Uzomah, you definitely cannot trust in pass protection. For what it's worth, Drew Sample, who is regarded as the best run blocking tight end in this draft class, is actually the worst graded run blocking tight end out of this draft class. But he's been fairly decent in pass protection. But basically, you don't want too many tight ends on the field because it limits what you can do as an offense, because it limits your verticality. It limits how much you can spread out the defense. I'm all for these condensed formations where basically stretch out the defense like that. But at the end of the day, it's not going to improve the pass protection that much. And when everyone was healthy, it would take away how much you can stretch the field. But I think at this point, you need to be more centered around 12 personnel, where you need to utilize Tyler Eifert more in the slot and out wide, because right now you just don't have anyone at the receiver position that can threaten the defense the way that AJ Green and John Ross could.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know, man.
With the lack of linebackers, right? Yeah. We rely more on our defensive backs, and maybe what Hodgie's saying is our receivers right now. I mean, we're pretty thin at receiver.
And Andy Dalton isn't a throw it down the field kind of guy anyway. So I'm saying, why not have three tight ends who are going to play it up close, keep it dangerous, closer. Keep the burners going down there, closer to the line. And then you've got 3 bigger guys who maybe they can do a little bit of blocking. 3 tight ends, why not? Try something new. I got to say, like, if you look at Zach Taylor, he hasn't really impressed us with his innovations this year in trying to take care of the problem. And it's odd because he's young. And in fact, the young coaches in the NFL this year aren't doing well. They're winless. You got your Broncos guy, what's his name, Vic Noviak or whatever. You got this guy, the Arizona Cardinals guy, not good. He's a looker, but he's not doing a good job as a coach. He has like 1 tie. And then you've got the Dolphins guy, and they've not done well. These young guys aren't doing well. And I think part of the reason is because this is an old man's NFL. It's an old man's game. We need to bring maybe Sam White back. We need someone old, like me, maybe. I don't know. But they're not doing well. And Zach isn't being the innovative guy we had hoped he would be. When I look at the formations on offense, I see zero effort to surprise people anymore. It's like, especially in these last few games, zero effort. What do you guys think? Or John?
Well, oh, you're putting it on me. It's a matter of time, man. Like these guys are rookie head coaches, and they don't have all their personnel with them. Especially when you're talking about Zach Taylor. To his credit, he took blame for not being creative enough in that loss against Pittsburgh, and that was clearly evident because how much of the Steelers were getting advantage of the offensive line. Basically, they took advantage of the silent snap count in that hostile environment, but there was no creativity there. There was no proper utilization of whatever weapons that they had, and it ended up being 3 points in a losing effort. So, yeah, he needs to do better. But at the end of the day,
think outside the box.
There's just so much, like you said, there's so much little that they can do with an offensive line that can't pass protect for more than 2.5 seconds, and a quarterback whose basically mental capacity for the game has been completely washed out because he's afraid of the pass rush.
Oh my gosh, he needs an intervention. Did you see him last game? He looked so frustrated. Like, you don't get frustrated like
that. They broke him. They broke him in that game.
They broke his spirit. I've seen a man's spirit broken. I was at a seance. And
so now you have a head coach who has to deal with that quarterback and that offense line. You're thinking, what else am I supposed to do? I don't have my three best receivers. I have a quarterback who's scared, and I have an offense line that can't do anything. So what really can he do?
What can he do? Three tight ends. That's what I would do. That would be my call this week. I'd be like, we're doing 3 tight ends. We're just doing it. I'm Hodgie, and I say we're doing it.
My suggestion is they just get more creative with 12 personnel. Like they basically had a handcuff on Tyler Eifert because they don't want to get him injured. They want to preserve him. But at this point,
man injured. Now is the time. I said that
you have nothing else to lose.
He's on a 1-year deal. I mean, if they keep him in
it's like he's a glass
bubble wrap,
slipper,
if they keep him on bubble wrap and his stats are like 200 yards, he's not going to get a big. I mean, he probably wants to get on the field more.
It's like Dadio. You remember Dadio, your Jeff Blake toy that you kept for 20 years, and then finally you just gave it away to someone.
Yeah. Well, it was for the show.
I know, but I'm saying that's what's going to happen with Tyler Eifert. We're just going to give him away to someone. We're going to keep him healthy and then give him away to someone. Play with your toys, man. Play with your toys.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about something else. So, Larry Fitzgerald is having a pretty good year for the Cardinals again. Right? I mean, the bad offense, but he is, probably their best offensive player still. And, AJ Green look up to him. And recently, AJ Green had comments saying that he wants to be, like that and be a legend.
Yeah.
What's that?
He's a one-team man.
One-team man. Yeah. And so a lot of people are looking at his body language. And I know, Hodgie, I think you have a PhD, I think, in body language.
Yes, it's an honorary PhD in body language that I got from a massage parlor. Yes.
Right. And
see, like right now, John doesn't believe me. Look, John's face. You see that? He doesn't believe me.
I believe you, but I don't want to believe you.
That's the body language.
Yeah. And so anyways, everybody trying to interpret AJ Green's body language like, oh, he wants out. That's not what I saw. And that's not what he basically said. I understood that like, man, this really hurts. I hate losing like this. Yeah. But this is my team. It's like if your your kid gets a bad grade or something. You're not like, I don't want this kid.
Yeah. No, let me tell you what's going on. He bought a big house. He likes his house. His kids are going to schools that he likes. Cincinnati chili doesn't taste bad. Grater's ice cream is pretty good. He doesn't want to leave Cincinnati. He likes the city and he likes the people and he likes the team. That's it. He's going to come back. And I tell you what, you want to hear something crazy? Yes, he's a wide receiver, but if he had been on the field these past 4 games, we would have won at least one of them, maybe 2. And that's the kind of difference AJ Green makes.
I absolutely agree. I mean, we're only a couple of days away.
That's the crazy thing. Most wide receivers aren't like that. That's what makes you elite. He's top 1, maybe top 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I mean, we were only a couple of days away.
Why is that so hard for people to believe? He likes Cincinnati. He loves.
Well, here's what I'm trying to explain to people that they're like, let's get what we can for AJ Green, for Dunlap. Okay, get it.
Oh my gosh! How would you trade Dunlap? You would have nothing.
No. Hold on.
You would be nobody without Dunlap. People wouldn't look at your face without Dunlap. No one cares about you if you don't have Dunlap. People don't get that. He's so good. Dunlap is a big fan of the show. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's say we get a third rounder. Oh, maybe we'll use it on a backup longest snapper this time.
Yeah.
Like, do you really think that the Bengals are going to do something? Because like we so depend on the draft, and then we go and get Drew Sample with a second-round pick. Like, do you really trust this franchise to acquire all these assets and then build a contender?
Hold on to your assets. Hold on to your assets.
Yeah. It's going to be a rough ride. It's going to be a rough ride.
Yeah. Buckle in your assets because it's going to be a rough few years. Keep the ones you have. If you have your
from what I gathered over the past 3 minutes, it sounds like you guys think that this team is close to competing.
No. Exactly opposite. Exact opposite. They're never going to compete. So
you might as well have people you enjoy watching.
Enjoy the guys you like as long as you can.
Wait,
so you have to change, John. You have to change. You have to change. Hold on. Let me explain real quick. Why do you think Jeff Blake is my favorite player of all time? It's not about what you accomplish. It's about how they make you feel. And you have to shift the paradigm from winning and losing to, hey, this guy is exciting. I like him. He's nice. Those are the type of Bengals.
Shift the paradigm from winning and losing to basically how are you a spokesman for Mike Brown?
Yes.
No, John.
You didn't know that?
You don't care about wins and losses?
I am stuck with this team. So Dadio, I have to.
You had lunch with Mike Brown. You had the tuna sandwich with Mike Brown last year.
Yeah, because he was telling me where I can buy cheap designer suits. That's all it was about.
You just bestowed propaganda that winning and losing doesn't matter as long as you have players that you like.
And we're sick of that attitude, Dadio. That's like exactly the kind of thing that makes Bengals fans.
No. I'm saying that's what you're going to get no matter what. So get used to it.
I don't know, but all I know is I agree with the part where you said that if they trade Dunlap, they won't get something good in return. They're not good with that situation. I think what they do is they're going to tank. They're going to get a high first-round pick. Yes, try to negotiate some second-round picks because everybody knows Hodgie's all about the second round. And keep your Dunlap, keep your pick, keep your AJ Green, and just rebuild. I honestly think that that the QP position, we don't need someone great. We just need someone who doesn't shut down. And I think that Andy Dalton's okay, but he's going to be great somewhere else. Andy Dalton, I haven't forgotten the good times. If you're watching the show, I haven't forgotten that you were clutch last year at times. I haven't forgotten 2015, Andy. I haven't forgotten those things. But I want to see you do well elsewhere on a team that can support you and give you those 3.5 seconds that you need to get the ball off. But we have scramblers, we have ramblers, we have go-get-em amblers who can make it happen, right? Behind,
I think you're onto something, and I've tried to explain this. So Jared Goff was, number one pick, right? You look at a lot of the early picks, Mariota, a lot of these other guys, they're good quarterbacks, okay? But I don't think they're franchise saviors, and that's what the Bengals need. So where
do you get one?
Well, no, I'm trying to say that is why John is going to hate me, but that is why I like those guys with the really high ceilings, because that is kind of what we need. So, like, for instance,
what does it mean when a guy has a high ceiling?
Like a Mike Vick, right? Like a Josh Allen, right? These guys weren't the greatest quarterbacks.
No.
But you get a few, But you get a few of these guys who do turn out to be franchise savers. The guys with the super strong arm, they can run, they can do it all. We need a hero, as Hodgie likes to say. We don't need
a hero.
Yeah. We don't need a quarterback.
Run and gonna run through the night.
Yeah.
He's got to be rough and he's got to be tough and he's got to be there for the fight.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. We need a guy who can carry us because look, we talk about how this team, if they find their quarterback, a lot will fall into place. And I agree. But their quarterback has to be a top 3 guy. He has to be a Russell Wilson type guy. He has to be a guy who overcomes bad play calling, bad offensive line, bad, skill set players, because we're not going to have AJ Green forever. How often do you think AJ Green come around? So we're going to have the Alex Ericksons, those kind of guys for most of our time. We need a guy who can make do with very little.
Okay, one last question from Hodgie because I got Mick Jagger's cousins coming over. Okay, one last question for you guys. Let's vote. You're the head coach of the Bengals. You're 0-4. You're not seeing a lot of hope right now. Do you start Finley? Yes or no? I say yes. Put Andy in the bubble wrap. Get what you can.
I will say this.
Don't let him get hurt behind this.
At the risk of losing our final $5 a month, and you got to understand that $5. That pays for my deodorant.
It spreads pretty thin. It spreads pretty thin.
It is, to the benefit of society that you do not stop being patronizing toward us. Having said that, Andy Dalton still has a future in this league. He is getting battered. He is not demonstrating his best self right now, especially without AJ Green.
Don't get him hurt.
Ryan Finley has something that Dalton does not. And that is pocket presence, pocket awareness, ability to evade pressure, make something happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to be great, but with this particular situation, I think it is to the benefit of both of them to give Finley a shot. Maybe 4 or 5 game, Andy takes a little vacation, gets healthy, come back with AJ Green, put his talent on display and get a good deal next year with another team.
This year? Is it too late this year?
What do you mean?
Can he
trade him? We're not going to get much to trade him. We have to hope that he still look like a starter next summer. Until this end of the year, another team give him a starting kind of deal, and we get a nice compensatory pick that we'll waste on a linebacker who won't play. Yeah,
as long as you don't break them out. Who was it that tweeted that thing that showed how Andy's performance had changed before and after he had hurt himself? He had broken the.
Evan McPhillips.
Yeah. So don't hurt the man. But John, you haven't voted yet. We both say
they should play the quarterback that allows them, in their best to their ability, evaluate the rest of the team.
Dol Gala. Okay, John is a Dol Gala guy. He's a Dol Gala truther. I know.
No,
Admit it, John.
No, okay.
John.
Just give me a second here.
Give him some space. Give
1 second to admit
Let the man breathe. Let the man breathe.
This team is 3 years away from competing for anything. They're 3 years away, which is why there's people claiming to basically trade players who are over 30 years old. So their job right now is to evaluate the rest of this roster, evaluate who is worthy of keeping around for the next 4 or 5 years. They need to play the quarterback that allows them to do that. That basically gives receivers, gives the offensive line the best case to basically show if they're good or not. And if that quarterback isn't, if that quarterback isn't Dalton, then it's not Dalton. Then you have
Let's be honest, John.
Who is it, John?
Without John Ross, without John
Ross.
Ross, hold on. Let me just say my opinion. Without John Ross, without AJ Green, no deep threats. I know Finley is limited with the deep ball, with the down the field plays. But who would we even throw to?
Yeah, who is your guy? Who are you saying that is? Because you speak in circles, my friend. Tell me, who is that man who can test the rest of the team? Who is that man?
It's not Andy Dalton.
Oh, that hurt. We just lost our last $5.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got to go back. I got to go back to playing, backup guitar on kiddie albums and stuff. Oh
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We speak the truth on this.
We
channel.
do, but they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear. They persecute us for speaking the truth, which is fine. I've been a Bengals fan when you guys weren't even in diapers. So believe me, I know how this game is played. You can't be positive. Yeah.
So wait, before, okay.
Yeah, I mean, before they were born and even in diapers. Yeah. I was a big fan. But that's what you do at the Bengals. You sit around and you complain, you throw things at the TV and you call it a day. That's how you be a Bengals fan. Trust me, I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah. So, predictions. John.
Let's go Cardinals.
Specific.
Cardinals 21, Bengals 10.
Now, and who's the star of the game? The star of the game.
The star of the game?
Finley. If he scored 10.
Let's go Chase Edmonds.
Okay. So you think he's going to get enough carries to be the main rusher, you think?
Yeah. Sure, why not?
Okay.
Hodgie, what about you? Okay.
Yeah, Hodgie. Yeah.
I would say, every time I've predicted wins this past few times and that the Bengals would win and they've lost. So I've clearly been jinxing. So I'm not going to jinx. I'm going to say Bengals lose. We score 0 points. It's Kyler Murray's breakout game.
Well, so what? Okay.
0. Because 0 isn't too far from 3, and that's what.
Okay, so here's my thing. I see the pride of guys like Dunlap and Mixon, and Boyd. He's a competitor.
Oh yeah.
So, and I know the Cardinals are a little better than us in some categories, not as good as us in other categories. And we just lost our best receiver, or best statistical. I mean, we lost John Ross, basically our second best receiver, healthy. And yeah, a lot not going so good. So I don't think the Bengals are necessarily going to dominate. I think it's going to be 28-17 Bengals.
Oh my gosh.
And I think the star is going to be Joe Mixon. I see him getting about 140 yards rushing.
Wow.
Yeah, and a couple of touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, with some cherry.
I know it's a little. I don't want to be negative. I try to usually think positively. I usually think the Bengals are going to blow the other team out.
Right.
But that Pittsburgh game kind of made me a little less optimistic.
Well, that's good. Maybe.
So no Jerome Simpson flipping it in the end zone today.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right. I love the subdued tone. I think that captures all of Bengals Nation. We're all very subdued, guys, and that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. It's going to pick up. This season going to pick up. Long way to go. 12 games left.
Oh my gosh. It's like
12 games.
Pulling toenails. Yeah.
12 toenails left.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is all we have for this episode. We will see you next time. SVT. Bye.
Yeah, I wasn't into it. Bye.